everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Julia and this is our 9-month-old Maltipoo, Roscoe. So, fun story, I actually already recorded this video once. After 30 minutes, I realized my microphone wasn't working. I can't tell you how many times this has happened to me. It got me so frustrated, but now I'm just gonna sit down, re-record this because I'm such a perfectionist. Anyway, today I'm going to be sharing with you all the top 5 mistakes we made when raising our Maltipoo Roscoe. So the first mistake that we made is soft training. Now what I mean by this is Roscoe knows all the basic tricks like sit, down, stay, and come, but we never really moved beyond the stage of the basic tricks. He lacks the firm respect of a well-trained dog. And generally, he only responds reliably to us during a highly engaged training session. For example, during a training session, he has a really solid stay and come, but in a real-life situation when he's chasing after a squirrel, there's nothing stopping him. One of the main reasons for this is that we've done most of our training inside rather than out and about in highly distracting places. We've also dedicated blocks of time to training rather than just doing it throughout the day, off and on. So Roscoe's kind of developed the mentality of only responding to us during training sessions when there's high rewards on the line. All the same though, Roscoe is a highly intelligent dog and he definitely has the ability to be trained and develop that high respect for us. But looking back, we should have focused less on the crowd pleaser tricks than building that firm respect with Roscoe. So the next mistake we made with Roscoe is not socializing him enough. Now, if I were to pick a biggest mistake from this list, socialization would definitely be it. Now, COVID's mainly responsible for this mistake because in quarantine, we couldn't go out and about and socialize him with people and dogs. During the first few months before COVID, we did socialize him a little bit, but we did miss 3 to 4 months of prime time to socialize Roscoe. And during that time, Roscoe had absolutely no interaction with people and dogs, which really played a part in how he behaves with them now. By the time we were out of quarantine, it was already too late. He developed that kind of unfriendly behavior towards other dogs where he'd bark and lunge at them. He also behaves similarly with people on walks. He will bark and growl at them when they pass by. At home, he is calmer when people come over, and he is definitely more friendly. Once Roscoe settles down and stops barking, he is the friendliest little dog you'll meet. Overall, he behaves better in public settings with lots of people as well. A couple weeks ago, we took him to an apple orchard and it was just bustling with people. For the most part, he paid no notice to them and he was very well behaved. But I think it's safe to say Roscoe has that little dog syndrome of barking at everybody he meets. So to sum this up, we did the best we could for the circumstances to socialize Roscoe, but clearly our efforts were not enough and we still need to do a lot of work before Roscoe is friendly around people and dogs. So this next mistake has to do with potty training and not having a set potty routine for Roscoe. While we were still training Roscoe to go outside to use the bathroom, we didn't have a set potty routine. So initially, we were really good about taking him outside. We'd take him out after he'd eaten, right when he was showing signs he needed to go, and right before bed. But after a while, we kind of got lazy and we didn't communicate well. So this resulted in there being a lot more accidents around the house on a daily basis. Being a family of 4, we wanted to share the responsibility of taking him outside and not leave it up to just one person. However, we didn't communicate well, and if I was upstairs doing school, my dad was working, and my mom was making dinner, nobody really knew he was supposed to be on Roscoe duty. We'd be constantly asking each other, who's supposed to be watching Roscoe? When did he last go out? Hoping to solve this problem, we made a checklist. So basically, we just write down who took him out, when, and if he'd pooped or peed out there. This didn't really work well for our family because we found that none of us were even checking the chart, so it kind of was pointless. I think the better solution would have been to pick set times to take him out and assign each member of the family to that one time, so everybody knew when to take him out and who was supposed to be taking him out. So after many months, Roscoe was finally potty trained and we ended up installing a little potty bell, so now that whenever he has to go outside, he'll just ring the bell. I actually made a video more about potty training, so if you'd like to check that out, I'll put it up here. Anyways, the whole family agrees that we should have had a schedule from the start. Looking back, we definitely agree that if we had had a schedule for potty training, it would have made everything so much easier. Another mistake that we made was not leaving Roscoe home by himself enough. If you didn't know, Maltipoos are prone to separation anxiety, and I had read this prior to getting Roscoe, but I guess it didn't really sink in until later. COVID definitely contributed to this because we weren't leaving the house naturally when we were in quarantine, so we didn't see it necessary to leave Roscoe home. However, we quickly realized that this was a mistake. Up until Roscoe was 8 months old, we didn't leave him home for more than 2 hours. Even then, I think we only left him home like 3 times before he was 8 months old. If that gives you any perspective. Whenever one person left the house or left the car, Roscoe would start whining and having an absolute fit. My parents just went in the store, so that's why he's going nuts. He has bad separation anxiety. This led us to believe that he had extreme separation anxiety, when in reality he just wasn't used to being by himself. The times we did leave him home, we'd leave him in his crate. This definitely conveyed the wrong message to Roscoe that whenever we leave, he's going to be confined in this small space, leading him to be even more stressed out. So fast forward to fall, life is a bit more normal, school started. Everybody was just weaving in and out of the house more often, and Roscoe just kind of got used to it. So since the start of fall, we really committed to leaving Roscoe home more, and instead of leaving him in his crate, we actually have gated off a room. We have toys in there and treats and his little beanbag for him to sleep on, and then when we leave, he can just free roam in that room, and it works so much nicer for him. When we leave, we sometimes set up the camera to make sure that he's all happy when we're gone, and sure enough, he's just gotten so used to being alone that he no longer has this separation anxiety. So although Roscoe doesn't really have separation anxiety anymore, it probably would have been wiser to leave him home from the start. That way, we just avoid the anxiety altogether. So the last major mistake that we made when raising Roscoe was grooming. By grooming, I mean not knowing how to take care of his hair. So the first grooming supplies that we ever bought were these 2 combs. Now that we know a bit more about grooming and we've experimented with different kinds of brushes and combs, whoops, wrong one, we realized we should have gotten these 2 combs. This one's a slicker brush, and this one's just a regular brush that goes through Roscoe's hair so smoothly. I just wanted to pop in here and explain this a bit better. So the reason we should have gotten the brushes before the combs is that the combs really pulled Roscoe's hair, and as a result, he just hated being brushed. Our guess is that if we had used the brushes first, Roscoe would have actually enjoyed being brushed because they go through his hair so much more smoothly. So initially, we planned to do all the grooming ourselves, and so we purchased a kit with a shaver, some more combs, and also some scissors. We gave him about 5 haircuts in total. It was enough to maintain his hair, but he didn't look that nice. Meanwhile, we weren't brushing him enough, and all these mats started to develop. Then in July, we had the brilliant idea of let's let Roscoe's hair grow out and then take him to a professional groomer. It wasn't until about a couple weeks before the appointment we realized that his hair had gotten so long, and since we weren't brushing him enough, he was covered in mats. Just to clarify, we didn't actually take Roscoe to the groomer until 2 months after, in September. We just kept putting it off, and meanwhile, Roscoe's hair just kept growing and growing and growing. So that's where the mistake plays out. The groomer had to pretty much shave Roscoe because of all the mats, and I actually have a video about his first haircut, so you can click up here if you're interested. Thankfully, he looks a lot cuter now because his hair has grown back. Now that we've learned our lesson, we brush him much more often, and so far he hasn't had any more mats. So those are what are you doing? So those are the top 5 mistakes that we made when raising Roscoe. Everybody makes mistakes, and hopefully this video can encourage you that you're definitely not the only one. We're first-time dog owners, so we've definitely learned a lot along the way. So I know this video was pretty much all negative things, but we definitely have a ton of positive things we did with Roscoe. So if you'd like to see a list of 5 things that we did that were really great with Roscoe, leave a comment down below. I've already started compiling a list. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, comment down below, and subscribe if you'd like to see more Maltipoo videos. Thank you so much for watching, and Roscoe and I will see you next time. Bye!